My luminous child, something is shifting around you in this very moment, something so urgent, so spiritually time-sensitive, that even the realm of heaven is trembling with attention. Archangel Michael steps forward with his sword lifted high, not in battle, but in warning. And he speaks your name into the atmosphere with divine authority, saying, "Stop. This is going to happen in 30 seconds, and God is ordering you to watch this message without skipping a moment." What you are hearing today is not a general message. It is not random. It is not accidental. This is the kind of message heaven releases once in a lifetime when something in your environment is about to shift, fast, sharp, and undeniable. And Archangel Michael is making sure you do not walk blind into the moment that is forming in the unseen realm. You may feel it already, the slight heaviness in the air, the sudden pressure on your spirit, the strange sense that something around you is about to reveal its true nature. This is exactly why Michael speaks. Because when heaven issues a 30-second warning, it means the shift is not coming later, it is already unfolding. Let your heart be still for a moment. Let your spirit lean in. Because the next words you are about to hear hold a key, one that will either unlock your protection or leave you vulnerable to the trick the enemy hoped you would overlook. Archangel Michael shows me a vision, a door slightly open, light trying to enter, but something standing in the way. Michael says this door represents you, your life space, your home environment, your emotional and spiritual territory. And in the last few weeks, someone or something has been trying to enter that open space without permission. It is subtle. It is quiet. It is disguised as concern, or connection, or routine. But it is not from God. Heaven is revealing this because someone has been observing you more closely than you realized, watching your patterns, monitoring your emotions, waiting for the moment you feel tired, alone, or unsure. And the Spirit of God is now placing a divine barricade between you and whatever was trying to step into your peace. Michael whispers, if they could enter your atmosphere unnoticed, they could influence your mind without your awareness. But here is the miracle. Heaven did not allow it. That's why you were pulled to this message so suddenly. That's why something inside you told you not to scroll. That's why God Himself commanded your spirit to open this immediately. Because right now, within these next few breaths, a revelation is preparing to surface. Not to scare you, not to overwhelm you, but to free you from a hidden influence, one that heaven is exposing before it grows stronger. Breathe. Steady yourself. Feel your spirit waking up. Michael shows me another image, a clock, its second hand racing faster than usual, almost trembling with urgency. This is God's way of telling you that a countdown has begun, and you must be aware before the final moment strikes. But here's the part most people miss. When heaven says 30 seconds, it doesn't always mean literal time. It means immediate spiritual intervention. A moment where divine truth pushes through the veil and reveals what your natural eyes could not see. Michael says you are on the edge of exposure. Exposure of motives, exposure of intentions, exposure of hearts around you. Someone who has been pretending will not be able to pretend much longer. Someone who has been smiling in your face will not be able to hold their mask. Someone who has been benefiting from your silence, your kindness, your trust is about to be confronted by heaven's light. And you must be spiritually awake when this exposure happens. Because God is not revealing this to hurt you. He is revealing it to protect you before the shift becomes unavoidable. You may have felt confused lately about certain people, their behavior, their sudden attention, their unexplained mood changes, your strange timing. This confusion was not weakness. This confusion was the Holy Spirit tugging at you, signaling that something wasn't aligned. Archangel Michael says you have sensed what your spirit couldn't yet explain. This message is the explanation. Something around you is being rearranged, and the divine realms are ensuring that the enemy does not twist the narrative before you receive clarity. God is not letting you walk blind. Not this time. Not in this season. Not with the destiny on your life. The truth is, what is coming next in this message is ever more revealing, more personal, but also more freeing. And before we move into the deeper revelation, you must hold this moment carefully because it is preparing your spirit for what heaven is about to uncover. Before you scroll, this is the point where everything begins to align. Stay with me. What comes next will open your eyes. Type "I receive the warning" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 3033 is now opening over you. My awakened soul, the air around you is shifting again, almost as if the atmosphere itself is trying to deliver a message before the world around you catches up. Archangel Michael stands closer now, not behind you, not above you, but directly beside your spirit, as though he is escorting you through a corridor of revelation that only heaven could open. What you felt in the previous moment was not imagination. It was the first vibration of truth pressing through the unseen realm. And now, as Michael lifts his sword toward the invisible space in front of you, the veil thins. Something long hidden is preparing to step into full view. Michael speaks softly yet with divine force. You were never supposed to face this moment without guidance. That is why heaven sent for you. His words echo like a ripple of light moving across your path. This message is not a coincidence. It is alignment. It is intervention. It is divine interception before the next motion in your life unfolds. God is showing you that the next 30 seconds of spiritual time are not about counting the physical seconds, but about revealing what has been operating around you without your conscious awareness. A revelation that has been waiting, restrained, until your heart was ready to receive it without fear. Now that moment has arrived. You may have noticed recently that certain patterns in your environment have become louder. Not loud in sound, but loud in meaning. Repeated thoughts that seem to come from nowhere. Sudden heaviness when you think of a particular person. Unexpected dreams. Unexplained hesitation. A sudden instinct to pull back from something or someone without knowing why. These are not random. They are signals. Signals that something in your atmosphere has been trying to influence your emotional and spiritual space. And until today, it had remained in the shadows. But heaven is shining its light now, because God refuses to let you continue walking with uncertainty pressing on your spirit. Archangel Michael shows me a vision again, this time clearer, sharper, with more definition. I see a curtain gently swaying, not from the wind, but from a presence standing just behind it. That presence represents an energy, a person, or a situation that has been lingering at the edges of your peace. They have not spoken their true intentions. They have not shown their true motives. But they have been waiting, observing, analyzing, and calculating. In the physical world, it looks ordinary. It looks like daily life. It looks like nothing at all. But in the spiritual realm, it is activity. It is movement. And Michael hath been monitoring this movement so that the enemy cannot get one step ahead of you. Heaven reveals that someone around you has been wearing familiarity like a cloak, using closeness or routine to stay near your energy. Their outward behavior appears harmless, but their inward motive has been shifting. They have been quietly testing the boundaries of your trust. They have been waiting for a moment when your guard drops. They have been hoping you would overlook the small inconsistencies, the unusual responses, the unsettling silences, or the strange timing of their actions. But God did not allow it to go unnoticed. Your spirit caught something. You sensed something off, even if you could not explain it. That spiritual alarm you felt with the beginning of this very revelation. Michael says their intentions will reveal themselves soon, not because they choose to, but because heaven is forcing the truth to the surface. Something you were blind to before will become obvious. Something that looked in as it will show its shadow. And something that you once doubted yourself about will be confirmed. Heaven is preparing to expose the truth, not to break your heart, but to free your heart. Because the enemy tries to operate through confusion, but God moves through clarity. And in this moment, clarity is approaching you with divine purpose. Let your spirit breathe deeply as you take this in. Nothing is happening by mistake. You are pulled here for a reason, to stop the enemy's next move before it forms, to reveal the thought before it becomes action, to reveal the intent before it becomes influence. You were brought here because God is saying, you will not be unprotected in this season. You will not be misled. You will not be blindsided. The warning you are receiving is heaven's shield wrapping around you. Michael shows me another image, a path divided into two. One path looks smooth at first glance but becomes unstable just a few steps in. The other path is narrower, but shines with light the closer you look. The message is clear. Someone or something is trying to sway you toward the unstable path, but heaven is now redirecting you before the decision is made. You may feel a strong internal pull in the coming days away from certain people, situations, or habits. That is not fear. That is divine guidance. Follow it without hesitation. And now, as this part of the message draws breath for what comes next, something in your spirit is unlocking. You may feel warmth, chills, a deep silence, or a sudden understanding. These are signs that your spirit is beginning to align with the revelation. When the next layer is revealed, it will make everything clearer. Stay centered, because the next unveiling will connect the meaning behind the urgency, the 30-second spiritual warning, and the reason heaven refused to let you scroll away. Hold steady. What comes after this will bring clarity that you did not know you needed. Type "I receive the light" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 1414 is opening over you. My vigilant heart, the moment you have been sensing is drawing nearer, pressing against the edges of your awareness like a whisper becoming a thunderclap. Archangel Michael stands before you once more, not as a distant guardian, but as a commanding presence whose wings stretch across the atmosphere of your life. His sword glows brighter now, not because danger is intensifying, but because truth is preparing to break through every layer of confusion, distraction, and spiritual interference that has clouded your path. What you are about to understand will not only explain the urgency of heaven's 30-second warning, but also reveal why God himself pulled you to this message without allowing you to scroll past it. Michael speaks again, his voice carrying weight that settles into your spirit like a seal from heaven. He says, a moment is approaching where everything hidden will rise to the surface. Pay attention to the shift before it arrives. His words are not suggestions. They are spiritual commands meant to protect you from stepping unknowingly into a trap designed to distort your peace. And heaven refuses to let you face this moment without preparation. For a long time, something in your environment has been stirring. Subtle but undeniable changes have been happening around you. A person's behavior has shifted in small, almost invisible ways. Their tone, their questions, their sudden interest, their unpredictable responses, your presence appearing at unusual moments, or their absence exactly when you needed clarity. These are not coincidences. They are signs that the spiritual climate around them is changing. and that their internal intentions are beginning to betray their outward actions. Michael reveals that this person or situation has been positioned close to your energy field because the enemy hoped to influence your emotions through familiarity. Familiarity is one of the subtlest spiritual entry points, because when someone appears harmless, your guard naturally lowers. And when your guard lowers, your spiritual radar becomes less sharp. The enemy hoped to use familiarity to bypass your discernment, but heaven has interrupted that plan. In truth, the enemy has been observing your spiritual elevation. You have been shifting, righting, awakening, lining. Your spirit has grown sharper, your intuition stronger, your inner strength deeper. And as you elevate, old energies, old patterns, and old connections that no longer serve your purpose begin to resist. They feel threatened by your growth. They feel exposed by your clarity. They feel the pressure of heaven moving closer to you. And so they cling tighter, hide deeper, or try to pull your attention back into old cycles. But this time, the cycle will not repeat. Heaven has issued a stop. Michael shows me a new vision. I see a doorway cracked open just enough to let light escape, but something on the other side wants to remain hidden. This represents the moment approaching you now, the moment where what has been hidden behind that door can no longer stay in the dark. Their intentions will slip. Their words will reveal truth. Their actions will betray what they tried to conceal. What they hoped to keep quiet will come out in the most unexpected way. Not because they choose to reveal it, but because heaven is forcing the exposure. God is stepping in to protect you from a decision that could lead you down a path of emotional or spiritual drain. Something or someone has been taking more from your spirit than giving. They have been drawn to your light, your peace, your energy, your heart. But they were not prepared for the responsibility of being connected to someone chosen. Heaven is intervening now so that you do not confuse emotional attachment with divine alignment. And Michael says, prepare your spirit. The truth is close. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to anchor you. Because when the revelation appears, you will not be shocked. You will be ready. You will see it with clear eyes. You will understand why God commanded you to watch this message immediately. You will recognize that heaven has been guiding you step by step toward understanding what your spirit felt long before your mind could explain it. And now, listen closely, because this next part is crucial. In the coming days, your discernment will sharpen sharply. You will begin noticing things you previously dismissed. You will hear tone shifts. You will observe small reactions. You will feel sudden discomfort around certain people or situations. You will notice that your spirit pulls back without any logical explanation. Do not ignore that pull. It is Archangel Michael redirecting your steps. Your spiritual sight is returning. Your intuition is being restored. Your clarity is being revived. Heaven is preparing you to make a decision that will protect your destiny. And that is why you cannot miss a single moment of this unfolding revelation. What is coming next is the part that ties every warning together. The Canadian, the pattern, the purpose. And once you understand it, you will never be fooled by this kind of energy again. Before the truth deepens further, take a breath and stay exactly where you are. The next unveiling will shift your understanding of what has been happening around you. Trust me, you will thank yourself for staying. Type "I stand in truth" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 5522 is now released over you. Like this message, share it with someone you love, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss divine guidance like this again. Comment below your confirmation so this message reaches more souls who need heaven's warning. Just as Archangel Michael exposes hidden shadows, this mission brings light into the places where people are hurting, confused, or spiritually blind. When you support this work, you are not helping a channel. You are helping God reach souls who are standing on the edge of breakthrough. Every seed you release becomes like spiritual fire, carrying the word into the lives of those who need it most. I hear the Spirit saying, "What you make happen for my kingdom, I will make happen for your household." I invite you now, with a full heart, to step into this divine moment. If this message awakens something in you, use Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description to sow into the harvest we are building together. As you give, may heaven multiply your seed with open doors, divine protection, and accelerated miracles. Move now with boldness and release your offering. Discerning Spirit, the atmosphere around you is continuing to shift, and it is no longer subtle. The spiritual pressure you feel is heaven tightening the circle around the truth, guiding you toward revelation with precision only the divine can orchestrate. Archangel Michael stands beside you with a presence that feels firmer now, more authoritative, as though the moment you are stepping into requires not just comfort, but strength. His wings move like a storm preparing to break, not in destruction, but in purification. Something that has been clouding your clarity is nearing its moment of exposure, and heaven wants your spirit steady, alert, and unshaken. Michael's voice carries through the atmosphere like a sword cutting through fog. He says, "The truth has begun to crack through their mask. Pay close attention now." His words resonate with a depth that shakes loose the last fragments of doubt lingering in your mind. You may not have had language for what you have been sensing, but your soul recognized the disturbance before your mind acknowledged it. That internal shift, that sudden heaviness, those moments of confusion or uneasiness, they were not emotional instability. They were spiritual alerts. Heaven reveals that someone connected to your environment has been walking a double path. Their outer actions have projected one narrative, while their inner spirit meditates on another. They have admired your strength, yet envied it. They have valued your presence, yet resisted your growth. They have smiled with their lips, but their energy has carried uncertainty. You may have brushed off these sensations in the past, hoping you were misjudging the situation, but Archangel Michael is making it clear. Your spirit was never wrong. Heaven has been trying to get your attention, and now the moment of clarity is approaching you with force. Michael shows me a vision again, this time of a mirror fogged over by breath. At first, you cannot see the reflection clearly, but with every passing second, as the fog thins, the true image becomes undeniable. This is what is happening in your life right now. The fog around someone's intentions is thinning. Their behaviors, once subtle, are beginning to reveal patterns. Your words, once convincing, now lack sincerity. Their timing, once convenient, now raises questions. Heaven is allowing these inconsistencies not to create fear, but to give you sight. Because God does not want you to misinterpret a spiritual warning as mere instinct. There is a moment approaching, one that Michael calls the turning of the veil. When this moment arrives, something this person had been hiding, suppressing, or avoiding will surface without warning. It may slip through a comment. It may appear in a reaction. It may show through an unexpected decision. Or it may reveal itself through silence. But when it appears, your spirit will recognize it instantly, because heaven has been preparing you to discern it. Their mask is not falling because they want to reveal the truth, but because heaven is forcing authenticity into the open. Michael says, this revelation is not punishment. It is protection. God is preventing you from stepping further into a connection, situation, or emotional investment that would drain you, mislead you, or deter your purpose. Heaven is making sure that clarity arrives before your heart attaches itself too deeply, before your energy becomes entangled with someone whose intentions are not aligned with your calling. This is why the urgency around this message was so strong. This is why God commanded your spirit to watch it without skipping. This is why the 30-second warning resonated within you the moment you read it. You may begin noticing, even now, that your inner world feels more alert. You may feel more observant, more intuitive, more spiritually awake. This is because your discernment is being sharpened like iron against stone. Heaven is aligning you with the exact awareness you will need in the days ahead. You will begin hearing the truth behind words instead of just listening to the surface. You will begin seeing the intention behind actions instead of merely observing behavior. You will begin feeling the spiritual weight of people's presence, revealing what their energy carries before they speak. And here is something crucial. You must trust what you feel. For too long, you may have dismissed your intuition because others convinced you that you were imagining things or being overly sensitive. But sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is spiritual intelligence. It is the ability to detect vibrations that others overlook. It is the very gift Michael is activating within you right now. Heaven is restoring the confidence you once had in your inner knowing. Michael reveals someone's access to you is about to change. Whether by distance, by truth, by revelation, or by divine intervention, the connection will shift. Not abruptly, but undeniably. The moment their intentions are exposed, you will feel your spirit detach. The emotional fog will lift. The hesitation you've been carrying will make sense. And the confusion the enemy tried to plant will dissolve instantly. Because clarity is coming, and with it comes release. There is more to be revealed, and heaven is preparing the pathway for the next unveiling. Stay grounded, stay attentive, stay spiritually open. What is coming next will connect the deeper meaning behind the exposure, the urgency, and the divine warning that pulled you here in the first place. Trust the process. Your spirit is being equipped for a revelation that will empower your future. Before you move on, center yourself. The next part will unravel what has been operating behind the scenes, and it will bring the understanding you have been waiting for, even without knowing it. Type "I walk in discernment" in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 7171 is now released over you. My rising soul, the atmosphere around you is no longer whispering. It is speaking with clarity, authority, and purpose. The shift you have been sensing is no longer hidden in shadows or subtle impressions. It is forming right in front of you, and Archangel Michael stands firm at your side, watching over your spirit with a fire that only grows brighter as the truth draws nearer. His stance is no longer that of a guardian waiting for danger. It is that of a warrior preparing you to witness what heaven hath been arranging behind the scenes. You are stepping into a moment of revelation that will reshape the way you see your connections, your environment, and your own intuition. Michael speaks, and his voice carries a tremor of divine power. What has been concealed cannot remain hidden any longer. The time of revealing has come. His words echo through your spirit like a bell ringing in a quiet room. You may feel this message vibrating through you, prompting you to breathe deeper. Listen closer, and open the eyes of your inner understanding. Something is reaching its spiritual expiration date. A truth that has been held back, intentionally or unintentionally, is now rising to the surface, and heaven refuses to let you be caught unaware when it breaks open. In the realm of the unseen, everything is movement. Every intention has a sound. Every emotion carries a color. Every motive sends a vibration. and around a certain person or situation connected to you. Those vibrations have been shifting rapidly. What once felt calm now feels uncertain. What once felt warm now feels inconsistent. What once felt safe now feels questionable. These changes are not your imagination. They are your spiritual radar activating. Heaven is heightening your senses so that you can detect the truth before it manifests fully in the physical realm. Michael shows me a vivid image, a room dimly lit, with one candle flickering in the corner. As the flame grows stronger, shadows on the wall begin to move and change shape. At first, the movement seems harmless, even unimportant. But as the flame brightens, the shadows reveal forms you could not see before. This is precisely what is happening in your life right now. The light of truth is growing, and the shadows that once disguised someone's intentions are losing their ability to hide. Soon, you will see the full shape of what has been operating behind the scenes. And when you see it, recognition will strike your spirit immediately. Heaven reveals that this person's energy had been conflicted. They have been pulling toward you while simultaneously resisting your growth. They admire your strength, yet fear they will lose control around someone so spiritually aware. They enjoy your presence, yet struggle with the transparency that your light demands. Light has a way of revealing what darkness tries to hide, and your presence has been bringing truth to the surface within them. Even truth they were not ready to confront. This internal conflict has created the inconsistencies you have been sensing. Your spirit is wrestling with itself. Your actions do not match their intentions. Your words do not match their emotions. Their energy does not match their presentation. Michael says, what they carry within them is being stirred by your awakening. Your spiritual growth is forcing hidden energies to rise. Your clarity is exposing what their shadow wanted to conceal. And your elevation is making it impossible for them to maintain a facade. Heaven is orchestrating this exposure because the relationship, connection, or environment around you cannot continue in the same form. It must either transform or dissolve, but it cannot remain in dissection. God is stepping into the situation, not to punish, but to realign. You had a calling that demands truth. You have a destiny that requires spiritual accuracy. You have an assignment that cannot be fulfilled while your energy is entangled with uncertainty. Heaven is clearing the path ahead by revealing what your heart needs to see, even if your emotions hoped it would turn out differently. The clarity coming to you is divine protection. The exposure coming to you is divine mercy. Michael shows me another image, a gate that has been locked for a long time. Suddenly, without force, the lock clicks open. This symbolizes a spiritual release. Something that has been binding you emotionally or mentally is losing its grip. A cycle is breaking. A pattern is ending. A tie is loosening. And once the truth becomes clear, you will feel free to mentor your spirit in a way you have not felt in a long time. You will feel lighter, sharper, more grounded, more aligned. This release will not be painful. It will be liberating. In the coming days, prepare yourself for small signs, a slip of the tongue, a sudden shift in tone, a moment of avoidance, an unexpected reaction, a strange distance, a confession wrapped in frustration. These are the early tremors of the unveiling. But when the full unveiling comes, it will be unmistakable. And instead of confusion, you will feel confirmation. Instead of hurt, you will feel understanding. Instead of fear, you will feel strength. And instead of uncertainty, you will feel divine clarity settling over your path like morning light breaking across the horizon. The truth is drawing closer, and heaven is guiding you step by step, layer by layer, through this revelation. The next unveiling will connect the emotional patterns you have been feeling with the spiritual activity that has been influencing them. There is more to be revealed, and your spirit is being prepared to receive it without overwhelm, without fear, and without hesitation. Before the next revelation arrives, steady your heart. What comes next will answer questions you have carried quietly for months. You are closer to understanding than you realize. Type "I embrace the truth" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 9090 is now released over you. My steadfast one, the air around you is beginning to hum with a deeper intensity, as though the very atmosphere recognizes that you are standing on the threshold of understanding what heaven has been leading you toward. Archangel Michael does not move from your side. Instead, he draws even closer, positioning himself like a shield between you and the shifting energies that have been circling your environment. His presence is not simply protective, it is revelatory. He stands here to unveil what has been concealed, to bring clarity where confusion tried to plant its roots, and to break open the truth that has been pressing against the edges of your spirit for far too long. Michael's voice enters your awareness with a steady force, neither rushed nor gentle, but balanced with divine precision. You are entering the moment where signs turn into understanding. These words settle into you like a deep exhale, because something in you knows they are true. You have been sensing, feeling, noticing the pieces forming around you, but until now, they have been fragments, unconnected impressions that stirred unease without explanation. Heaven is about to give you the explanation. For some time now, your spirit has been detecting a subtle disruption in the flow of someone's energy toward you. It has not been loud, but it has been persistent. A slight tightening in your chest when they speak, a sudden awareness of distance even when they are close, an unexplained resistance within them when you shine, succeed, or simply step into your authentic self. These sensations were not emotional instability. They were heaven's way of alerting you to an imbalance in spiritual alignment. Michael shows me a vision, 2 candles burning side by side. One flame grows taller, expanding with steady strength, while the other flickers unpredictably, shrinking each time the stronger flame rises. This is symbolic of what has been unfolding between you and a certain individual. Your spiritual fire has been growing. Their inner flame has been reacting, not because yours threatens them intentionally, but because your awakening exposes the areas where they have not healed, not grown, or not confronted their own shadows. Your elevation triggered something within them, something they tried to hide even from themselves. Their spirit is conflicted. They are drawn to your light, yet overwhelmed by it. They admire your strength, yet feel insecure in its presence. They want your support, yet fear your discernment. They crave closeness, yet resist vulnerability. These contradictions have created the inconsistencies you have been feeling so strongly. They pull close, then withdraw. They seek your attention, then avoid your truth. They express care, then shift into silence. They reveal a part of themselves, then retreat behind an emotional wall. These are not normal fluctuations. These are spiritual indicators that their energy is not in alignment with your elevation. Heaven reveals that something within them has been awakened by your presence, something they did not expect. Your clarity disrupts their confusion. Your peace disturbs their unrest. Your purpose confronts their stagnation. And instead of rising with you, something in them is resisting the transformation that your connection requires. This resistance has created tension in the spiritual atmosphere around you. And Michael says, this tension is the signal of what is coming. You may notice moments where their words reveal more than they intended. A tone that carries unspoken frustration. A comment that feels slightly off. A question that seems innocent but holds deeper meaning. a reaction that reveals insecurity, a sudden shift in their eyes when you speak truth. These are all pieces of the unveiling. Heaven is allowing these small fractures to appear so that you are not blindsided by the full exposure when it arrives. Michael shows me another vision, a rope held by two hands. One hand grips firmly, ready to continue the journey. The other hand loosens slowly, not because it wants to let go, but because it cannot hold on in its current state. This symbolizes the spiritual dynamic between you and this person. They cannot walk into your next season unless their motives, intentions, and energy become clear both to you and to themselves. Heaven is not severing the connection, but it is restructuring it. The relationship cannot stay as it is. The dynamic must shift, or it will drain you emotionally and spiritually. God is intervening to prevent a deeper entanglement that would cost you your peace, your clarity, and your focus. The divine warning that pulled you to this message was not about fear, it was about preparation. Heaven wants you to understand the emotional and spiritual patterns forming around you before they affect your destiny. You are being positioned to make decisions with clarity, not confusion. With strength, not attachment. With discernment, not wishful thinking. Michael says, the truth is not coming to break your heart. It is coming to break your illusion. That illusion has been forming around someone's inconsistent intentions. They are not malicious, but they are not transparent. They are not your enemy, but they are not aligned with where God is taking you. Their spirit is not plotting against you, but it is not ready to walk beside you in full truth. And heaven is removing the fog so you can see this clearly. In the days ahead, the truth will take form in ways you cannot ignore. A change in tone, a revealing conversation, a shift in energy, a moment of unexpected clarity, a realization that settles in your spirit with undeniable force. You will not need to overthink it. You will not need to seek confirmation. Heaven will make it unmistakable. You are being prepared for a revelation that will not just clarify this connection, but elevate your ability to discern every connection in your life moving forward. Stay here. Stay tuned. Stay aligned. The next unveiling will bring the deeper layer your heart has been waiting for, even if it did not know how to articulate it. Type ISE clearly now in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Lesson code 8844 is now activated over your life. My illuminated spirit. The veil that once concealed the truth is thinning more rapidly now, and you can almost feel the shift brushing against your awareness like a current of warm, awakening air. Archangel Michael remains unwavering at your side, his presence expanding with every revelation that draws closer. His wings are no longer simply a shield, they are a gateway, ushering you into deeper understanding, deeper clarity, and deeper spiritual alignment. You have reached a point in this journey where the truth is not approaching slowly. It is rushing toward you like a wave prepared to cleanse the shoreline of your mind and your emotions. Michael speaks again, and the weight of his words settles into your chest with divine purpose. The hour of unveiling is upon you. Prepare your heart for what clarity will release. You can feel this truth resonating within you, because something inside has already begun shifting. The unsettled feelings, the strange pauses, the intuitive whispers, the emotional echoes, they are all converging into a single point of revelation. Heaven does not bring you this far only to leave you uncertain. Heaven brings you this far so that your vision can sharpen and your spirit can finally rest in truth instead of confusion. For weeks, months, or perhaps even longer, there has been a slow distortion in the spiritual atmosphere surrounding a particular connection in your life. At first, this shift was nearly undetectable. A slight discomfort here, a quiet hesitation there, a sudden emotional distance, a pattern that broke without explanation. But as your spirit elevated and your discernment awakened, these inconsistencies grew louder. What once felt like coincidence began feeling intentional. What once felt harmless began feeling spiritually significant. And what once felt like simple behavior began exposing deeper truth beneath the surface. Michael shows me a vision, a pond of still water reflecting a clear sky. But beneath that stillness, movement stirs, ripples forming in circles as something hidden below rises closer to the surface. This is symbolic of what has been happening around you. The stillness someone tried to maintain is cracking. Their unresolved emotions are surfacing. Their concealed intentions are stirring. Their inner conflict is awakening. And heaven is making sure that what rises to the surface will not be misinterpreted, misunderstood, or mistaken for anything other than what it truly is. This person has been wrestling internally, battling the tension between who they appear to be and what they carry within. They have been trying to present stability while their heart feels unsteady. They have been trying to maintain proximity while their spirit feels threatened by your elevation. They have been trying to support you while quietly fearing what your growth means for their own identity. These contradictions are not your responsibility to fix. They are reflections of their own spiritual journey, with their resistance to it. Michael says, your spirit grew. Theirs resisted growth. That is the conflict you have been feeling. This is why conversations felt different. This is why communication felt uneven. This is why you sensed something shifting even when nothing obvious had changed. Elevation always exposes misalignment. Not to shame, but to clarify. Not to punish, but to protect. Not to destroy, but to redirect. In truth, this person has been influenced by their own internal shadows, doubt, insecurity, fear of abandonment, fear of inadequacy, or fear of losing control. Your presence magnifies these shadows because your light does not allow them to hide. And instead of confronting what rises within them, they have been trying to contain it, suppress it, or misdirect it. This suppression is what has created emotional distance, unusual patterns, or unpredictable behavior around you. Heaven reveals that this person is approaching a breaking point, not emotionally, but spiritually. A moment where what they have been hiding can no longer remain behind the mask they have crafted. They will either open themselves to truth or retreat into the safety of their shadows. But either way, the truth will emerge. He has no choice. Divine revelation had been activated, and once activated, it cannot be reversed. Michael shows me another image, two paths diverging. One path is illuminated, narrow, but steady. The other is dim, wider but winding and unstable. This represents the decision that will soon reveal itself in your connection. Not a decision you must force, not a decision you must fear, but a decision that heaven is orchestrating. This person will either step into transparency, allowing truth to bring healing and real connection, or they will step away, unable to withstand the light that your spirit carries. Whatever direction they take, heaven wants your heart prepared, because this moment will bring you clarity, not chaos, understanding, not heartbreak, liberation, not confusion. The uncertainty you have been feeling is coming to an end. The emotional fog is clearing. The spiritual weight is lifting. You are being led toward a higher knowing, a deeper awareness, and a stronger sense of self. Michael says, you will not be blindsided. You will be guided. And that guidance is already in motion. In the coming days, expect a moment, a conversation, a reaction, a silence, a slip of truth, an unexpected shift that opens your eyes completely. You will see them clearly. You will understand what has been forming. You will recognize the spiritual misalignment that heaven has been trying to reveal to you. And once you see it, you will never doubt your intuition again. You are nearing the threshold of truth, and heaven is holding your hand through every step of it. The next unveiling will take you into the core of this revelation, the reason God issued the urgent warning, and the purpose behind Michael's relentless presence at your side. The truth will not break you. It will rebuild you. Before you continue, steady your breath. What comes next will connect everything. Type "I am ready for revelation" in the comments if this message speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 6655 is now released over your path. My chosen one. The moment of divine confrontation is nearing, and the air itself feels heavy with revelation. But once stirred quietly beneath, the surface is now rising like a tide that cannot be stopped. Archangel Michael stands taller beside you, his armor glowing with a brilliance that signals one thing: the truth is ready to reveal itself in full measure. The silence before the unveiling has ended. The spiritual winds are shifting, and your heart is being positioned to receive clarity without distortion, fear, or confusion. What you sense right now is not anxiety. It is anticipation. Heaven is preparing to show you what your spirit has been feeling for far too long. Michael's voice emerges with unwavering certainty. You are entering the moment where truth steps forward and shadow retreats. His words break through the atmosphere like the first beam of light slicing through a storm. You can feel something aligning inside you, like pieces of an unseen puzzle finally clicking into place. This next revelation will not simply explain what you have been sensing. It will validate every quiet discomfort, every intuitive nudge, every subtle warning, and every spiritual signal you have received in the weeks and months leading up to this moment. Heaven reveals that the person whose energy has been fluctuating around you is closer to exposure than they realize. Their internal world is unraveling, not in chaos, but in truth. Their contradictions are becoming harder for them to contain. Their intentions are becoming too heavy to disguise. Their emotions are too stirred to be hidden behind controlled expression. A point is approaching where their spirit will reveal something their mouth has tried to avoid. Every inconsistency you have felt is a crack in the facade. And those cracks are widening because your light has intensified. Michael shows me a vision. A wall painted with a beautiful mural. From a distance it looks perfect, smooth, crafted, intentional. But up close the paint is peeling, the colors fading, the cracks deepening beneath the surface. This is symbolic of the person whose presence has been confusing your spirit. Outwardly, they appear composed, balanced, and in control. But inwardly, their spiritual foundation is crumbling where truth has been avoided. They have been trying to hold together an image that no longer matches their reality. And heaven is dismantling the illusion because your destiny cannot afford dissection, not even unintentional deception. On your path forward, this person feels threatened not by you, but by what your presence awakens within them. Your clarity forces them to confront their confusion. Your growth challenges their stagnation. Your spiritual elevation highlights their lack of alignment. And your discernment exposes the areas they hoped would remain unseen. This is why they pull close, then push away. It is why they communicate, then retreat into silence. It is why they show care, then reveal distance. Their spirit is battling the truth that connection to you requires honesty, accountability, and transformation. Michael says, they fear the light you carry because it demands truth. This fear is not malicious. It is internal. It is rooted in past wounds and old patterns that they have not yet healed. But regardless of motive, heaven will not allow your spirit to remain entangled with someone whose intentions cannot withstand the light of divine revelation. The urgency you felt from God, the command to watch, the 30-second spiritual warning, was preparation for this exact moment. Heaven is guarding your destiny, your peace, your emotional energy, and your spiritual clarity. In the coming days, expect a moment where the mask slips completely. It may come through a sudden confession, a visible reaction, a shift in behavior, an emotional outburst, or an unexpected silence. But whatever form it takes, the truth will carry the weight of confirmation. You will recognize instantly that this is what heaven has been preparing you for. You will not feel panic, you will feel understanding. You will not feel confusion, you will feel alignment. You will not feel loss, you will feel release. Michael shows me another image, a doorway illuminated by golden light. The space beyond the door is peaceful, expansive, and filled with purpose. But standing in the doorway is a shadow attempting to block the view, not out of malice, but out of fear of what stepping into the light will require. Heaven is now removing this shadow so that nothing dims your vision of what lies ahead. You are being prepared to walk into a clearer season, one where intentions are transparent, where connections are aligned, and where your spiritual sight is sharp enough to recognize divine partnerships from emotional attachments. This unveiling is not simply about another person. It is about your evolution. Your growth has activated this spiritual exposure. Your fate requires this moment. Your next season demands that nothing and no one connected to you remains unclear. God is cutting away confusion so that your steps remain steady. Archangel Michael is standing guard to prevent deception from entering your path. Heaven is clearing space for people who can walk beside your purpose with authenticity, integrity, and spiritual grounding. You are being elevated, and elevation always brings exposure. What is about to be revealed will shift the way you see relationships, energy, motives, and alignment forever. The next part of this message will unravel the core truth behind the divine urgency and why God demanded that you not skip this message for even a moment. Stay present. What unfolds next will complete the picture. Type "I receive clear vision" in the comments if this message resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 3339 is now active over your life. Like this message, share it to awaken another soul. Comment your confirmation, and subscribe so you never miss what heaven is speaking to you. This helps this message reach those who desperately need divine clarity right now. Just as Archangel Michael exposes what the shadows tried to hide from you, this mission exists to bring light to thousands who are walking through silent battles of confusion and spiritual blindness. When you support this channel, you are not fueling a platform. You are fueling deliverance, awakening, and divine intervention for souls who feel lost in the very moments you have now overcome. I hear the Spirit saying, when you sow into the light, you become a carrier of that same light. This is your moment to step into prophetic alignment. If this message stirred your spirit, use super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description to plant a seed into the work God is doing here. As you give, may heaven multiply your obedience with clarity, protection, and breakthrough in the areas you have been praying over. Move boldly. Your seed today becomes someone's deliverance tomorrow. My awakened heart, the atmosphere around you is trembling with spiritual movement, as if the unseen realm is shifting its weight and preparing to place truth directly into your hands. Archangel Michael does not step back in this moment. He steps closer, his presence expanding like a protective dome around your spirit. His eyes burn with a clarity that tells you the unveiling is not just near, it has already begun. What you are feeling inside your chest right now, that subtle tightening mixed with anticipation, is heaven aligning your spirit with what is about to be revealed. The truth is circling you, approaching with precision, preparing to illuminate every corner where confusion once lived. Michael speaks, and his voice enters your awareness like a current of divine electricity. Your spirit is ready. The veil cannot hold any longer. These words do not come to you as a warning. They come as a confirmation. Everything inside you that had been stirring, questioning, sensing, and discerning is now rising to the surface. The spiritual fog that once clouded your perception is lifting, and what stands behind it is the clarity your soul has been craving for months, perhaps even years. Heaven reveals that the person whose energy hath been competing with your peace has reached a point of internal breaking. Not breaking in the sense of collapse, but breaking in the sense of exposure. Your intentions, unspoken thoughts, emotional disturbances, and spiritual inconsistencies have been vibrating beneath the surface for too long. The tension within them can no longer remain hidden. Your spirit is spilling into their behavior, and their behavior is beginning to reveal the truth their words have tried to conceal. Michael shows me a vision, a glass cup filled to the very brim. At first, the liquid remains still, but with the slightest disturbance, it spills over the edge. This is symbolic of the emotional and spiritual state of the person connected to you. They have been holding back truth, suppressing feelings, hiding motives, and burying reactions. They believed they could maintain control, but heaven has been stirring their spirit. And now, like the overflowing cup, the truth is beginning to spill, slowly at first, but soon in ways you cannot ignore. You may notice changes already taking place. Their responses feel sharper or quieter, their presence heavier or more distant, their interest inconsistent, their energy unpredictable. These are not coincidences. They are signs of a spirit unable to maintain its mask. Their inner world is reacting to your elevation, and the closer you draw to truth, the harder it becomes for them to disguise their internal conflict. Michael says, they are not your enemy, but they are not in alignment with your next season. This is a profound distinction. Heaven is not revealing this person to condemn them. Heaven is revealing them so that you do not misinterpret spiritual misalignment as emotional connection, so that you do not carry the weight of someone else's unresolved wounds, so that you do not step into a season of destiny with someone who is still wrestling with their own shadows. Your discernment has been increasing because God needs you spiritually awake for what comes next. The divine urgency you felt, the message you were commanded to open, was part of heaven's strategy to prepare you. The warning was not about danger, it was about direction. You were not meant to walk blind into this revelation. You were meant to arrive with spiritual armor already fitted to your soul. Michael shows me another image, a doorway cracked open by a beam of golden light. But beyond the doorway stands a figure whose shadow wavers, uncertain, unstable. This image reflects the person around you. They are standing at the threshold of truth, but do not know whether to step forward into authenticity or retreat into the comfort of their old patterns. Their indecision has created spiritual turbulence around you, turbulence you have been feeling even when you could not explain it. Heaven reveals that this person fears losing their access to you, but what they fear even more is being truly seen by you. Because your spirit does not accept half-truths, mixed motives, or emotional fog. Your presence requires honesty. Your energy requires clarity. Your soul demands alignment, and they have not yet decided whether they are willing to rise to that level of truth. This is why the universe has been preparing you so thoroughly. The cunning revelation may arrive through a sudden confession, something they say that reveals more than they intended. It may come through a moment of silence, where their absence speaks louder than words. It may come through a change in behavior, so drastic it exposes their true motives. Or it may come through your own intuition, so sharp and undeniable that you finally see the full picture without needing them to speak at all. Whatever form it takes, heaven is ensuring that you are emotionally and spiritually steady when it arrives. You will not be shaken. You will not be confused. You will not be misled. Your eyes are being opened to see beyond appearances, beyond behavior, beyond the surface-level gestures that once distracted your heart. You will see truth clearly, and in that clarity, you will find peace. Michael says again, with commanding certainty, you are being prepared for release. Release from confusion. Release from emotional weight. Release from spiritual misalignment. Release from expectations you quietly held. Release from attachments that were never meant to anchor your destiny. This release will not feel like loss. It will feel like liberation. What comes next will take you deeper into the heart of heaven's purpose behind this exposure. You are approaching the core of the revelation. Stay present, because the next unveiling will shift your understanding of everything that has been happening around you. Type "I accept divine revelation" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 1001 is now unfolding over your life. My ascending soul, the spiritual atmosphere around you is no longer whispering. It is roaring with movement, pressure, and divine purpose. Something significant is unraveling in the unseen realm, and your spirit can feel it like a vibration running beneath your skin. Archangel Michael stands before you with a presence that fills the space like a rising tide. His wings are drawn wide, not as a gesture of defense, but as a signal that the moment of truth is now resting directly in front of you. What you sensed coming is no longer approaching. It is here. The unveiling you have been prepared for is beginning to penetrate the very fabric of your awareness. Michael speaks, and his voice feels like a wave of clarity washing over your spirit. The truth that was hidden is stepping into the light. You are ready to see what could not be revealed before. His words settle into your chest with a weight that is both grounding and liberating. You can feel a shift inside you, as if the eyes of your soul are whitening, adjusting to a brighter, sharper spiritual light. This is the moment heaven has been escorting you toward with such urgency. This is why God commanded your spirit not to skip the message. This is why the divine countdown pressed against your awareness with such intensity. Heaven reveals that the person whose energy has been unsettling your peace has now reached a spiritual tipping point. Their internal conflicts, once buried beneath practiced behavior and controlled expressions, have risen too close to the surface to hide. Their motives can no longer blend into their actions. Their confusion can no longer mask itself as care. Their emotional instability can no longer disguise itself as inconsistency. Something within them is unraveling, and heaven is making sure you are positioned to see it without emotional clouding. Michael shows me a vision, a beautifully crafted vase with intricate designs painted across its surface. For years it appeared whole, but when examined under stronger light, tiny fractures become visible, fragile lines running through the porcelain, threatening the integrity of the entire structure. This symbolizes the person connected to your situation. Upwardly, they attempted to present steadiness, composure, and reliability. But truth, when illuminated by your spiritual growth, revealed the cracks they hoped no one would notice. Those cracks are where their true intentions leak through. Those cracks are where their emotional wounds reveal themselves. Those cracks are where heaven begins exposing the reality beneath their performance. You have been sensing these cracks in subtle ways, through tone shifts that didn't match their words, through hesitation when you expected clarity, through emotional withdrawal when honesty was required, through moments when their energy felt heavier than their presence. These sensations were not your imagination. They were your intuition picking up the fractures behind their mask. They were signs of misalignment that your spirit recognized long before your mind could articulate the reason. Michael says, their truth is surfacing because your spirit is too elevated for shadows to remain comfortable. You are rising. And as you rise, everything around you must reveal its true nature, whether it aligns with you or resists your growth. This person is caught between those two realms. They want connection, but they fear transparency. They want closeness, but they fear vulnerability. They want your energy, but they fear your discernment. They want your presence, but they fear what it exposes within them. And now, the pressure within them is becoming too great. Their spirit cannot continue carrying the weight of a truth they had avoided. Heaven is positioning circumstances, interactions, and emotional triggers that will force their hidden intentions to surface. This revelation is not punishment. It is purification. It is alignment. It is divine correction. Michael shows me another image, a curtain that has been drawn for far too long. Slowly, a hand pulls it open, and sunlight floods the room, revealing everything that darkness once allowed to hide. This moment is approaching quickly in your life. A conversation, a confession, a shift in energy, an unexpected revelation, or even a moment of silence will expose what you have been sensing. It will not confuse you. It will not overwhelm you. Instead, it will settle into your spirit like a piece of truth you always knew, finally confirmed. Heaven reveals that this person's hidden intentions were not designed to harm you, but their lack of honesty could have interfered with your destiny if left unexposed. Their emotional inconsistencies could have drawn you into cycles of uncertainty. Their internal battles could have drained your spiritual focus. Their unclear motives could have influenced decisions that God needs you to make with precision. Heaven will not allow confusion to follow you into your next season. Heaven is clearing your path. Heaven is illuminating every shadow. Heaven is breaking every illusion. Michael says, you will not be entangled with what does not support your divine assignment. Your purpose is too significant. Your calling is too great. Your spirit is too awakened for hidden intentions to linger in your atmosphere. This revelation is not about losing someone. It is about reclaiming your clarity, your energy, your authority, and your spiritual alignment. In the coming days, expect your intuition to sharpen even further. Expect moments where your spirit reacts before your mind understands why. Expect clarity to arrive suddenly, without warning, like a flash of recognition. You may see someone's true colors not through dramatic revelation, but through small moments that speak louder than their crafted persona. And when it happens, you will not hesitate. You will not doubt yourself. You will know. The unveiling is unfolding. The truth is emerging. And heaven is guiding you step by step, breath by breath, insight by insight. What comes next will reveal the depth of this person's true intentions and why heaven intervened before the situation could pull you off your divine path. Type "I move in divine truth" in the comments if this message speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 4114 is now released over your journey. My attuned spirit. The air around you is dense with revelation, as though every breath you take pulls you deeper into the truth heaven has been preparing to unveil. Archangel Michael stands before you with an intensity unlike anything you have felt in the previous moments of this journey. His posture is firm, his sword anchored into the ground beside him, and his wings curve around your spirit like a fortress. You are now standing at the edge of the deepest layer of this divine unveiling. What comes next will not only explain the urgency of heaven's warning, it will reveal the spiritual mechanics behind everything you have been sensing, fearing, questioning, and trying to understand. Michael's voice rises with the authority of one who has fought countless battles on behalf of the chosen. The truth is ready to break through. Your heart must be steady. His words move through your chest like a surge of clarity, causing something inside you to quiet down, an inner readiness settling over you like a mantle being placed upon your shoulders. This is not the moment to hesitate. This is the moment when your spirit recognizes that the shifting energy around you is not random. It is divine orchestration. It is the voice of heaven exposing what the enemy hoped will remain hidden in silence. Heaven reveals that the person whose energy hath been intertwined with your journey carries a deeper internal struggle than you realized. Their inconsistencies were never simply emotional fluctuations. Your silence was never simple withdrawal. Your mixed signals were not accidents. Everything you felt, every strange pause, every shift in tone, every sudden emotional distance, was echoing from a root that has now reached the surface. They have been wrestling with a truth about you, about themselves, and about the connection between you, but they did not have the courage or spiritual maturity to confront it openly. Michael shows me a vision, two mirrors facing each other. One mirror reflects truth, the other reflects fear. The person connected to you had been standing between these two mirrors, unsure of which reflection to believe, unable to choose which version of themselves they wished to embody. When they faced the mirror of truth, they saw their own vulnerability, their own inconsistencies, their own unhealed wounds. When they faced the mirror of fear, they saw the risk of losing you, the risk of being exposed, the risk of stepping into a level of honesty that frightened them. This internal tug-of-war is the cause of every shift you felt. Their spirit wants truth, but their ego resists it. Their heart wants transparency, but their fear seeks protection. And now, heaven is ending the war. Michael says, the time for confusion has expired. The truth must speak. This does not mean the person will suddenly stand before you and pour out their full intentions. It means heaven will use circumstances, reactions, spiritual intuition, and divine timing to reveal what they could not speak aloud. The truth will make itself known through a moment that pierces through the fog, an undeniable shift that clarifies everything at once. It may come through a sudden change in their behavior, a slip of honesty, a moment of emotional breaking, or even a decision they make that exposes their true heart. Heaven is not revealing this truth to hurt you. Heaven is revealing it so that you do not build emotional or spiritual foundations on uncertain ground. God is protecting the blueprint of your destiny. Your heart, your peace, your clarity, your purpose, none of these can be entangled in confusion. Not in this season. Not with the calling on your life. Michael shows me another image, a scroll unrolling from heaven, illuminated with golden light. On this scroll is written your next season, a season of clear relationships, clear alignment, clear discernment, and clear purpose. But there is something written at the top of the scroll, bold and undeniable. No shadows may pass into this season. This is why heaven is revealing what it is revealing now. The person connected to you cannot carry their mask, their indecision, or their hidden motives into your next chapter. The truth must be exposed so that you can move forward with clean energy and spiritual precision. You have been feeling the buildup of this moment. At times, you thought you were overreacting. Other times, you felt spiritually overwhelmed without understanding why. You questioned your intuition. You doubted your perception. You carried emotional weight that did not belong to you. But now, heaven confirms what your spirit has known all along. You were discerning the truth before it manifested. Your sensitivity was not weakness. It was prophetic awareness. Your unease was not emotional instability. It was a divine alert. And now, the final stretch of the unveiling approaches. What will be exposed next is not meant to break your heart. It is meant to break the illusion. You will finally see this person with spiritual clarity, not emotional hope or fear. You will understand the reason behind every strange moment, every pause, every inconsistency. You will feel the pieces click together in a way that liberates your whole spirit. Michael says, this revelation prepares you for alignment. Alignment with peace. Alignment with mature relationships. Alignment with divine timing. Alignment with people whose spirits strengthen your calling rather than derail your clarity. The next part of this message will enter the core of what heaven has been building you toward. It is the moment where the deepest layer of truth is revealed, the part that shifts your path forward and seals this divine warning with understanding. Breathe deeply. Steady your heart. The final revelations are approaching. Type "I walk in holy clarity" in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 2299 is now released over your life. My destined soul, the moment you have been led towards since the very first line of this divine message is now standing directly before you. The air around you feels different, charged, illuminated, almost trembling with the weight of what heaven is ready to reveal. Archangel Michael remains at your side, but his presence has shifted. He is no longer in a posture of warning. He is now in a posture of declaration, as though the truth has fully ripened and is ready to step into the open. You have walked through every layer of this journey with an open heart, and now heaven is ready to place the final revelation into your hands. Michael's voice rises with the authority of one who has guarded you through countless unseen battles. You have reached the end of the shadow. Step into the clarity that was written for you. These words settle inside you with a depth that almost feels like a physical force, grounding your spirit, strengthening your perception, and preparing you for what is about to unfold. This is the moment where everything that once felt confusing finally reveals its shape. This is the moment where every unease finds its explanation. This is the moment where every instinct you question becomes validated. Heaven reveals that the person whose energy has stirred your spirit, whose inconsistency you have felt like ripples through your intuition, has been holding back a truth of significant weight. Not a truth meant to harm you, but one they feared would change the way you saw them. Their conflict was never about you. It was about themselves. They have been wrestling with feelings they did not know how to articulate, emotions they did not know how to process, and intentions they were afraid to fully reveal. Michael shows me a vision, a heart covered in layers of dust, each layer representing fear, uncertainty, past wounds, emotional hesitation, and internal turmoil. As your light grew stronger, these layers began cracking, exposing the heart beneath them. Your presence awakened something in them, something they were not prepared to confront. They felt drawn to your spirit, to your strength, to the way your clarity illuminated even the parts of themselves they tried to hide. But instead of rising to meet your authenticity, they retreated into old patterns, afraid of being seen too deeply. Their silence was not indifference, it was fear. Their distance was not rejection, it was confusion. Their inconsistency was not disinterest, it was internal conflict. Michael says, they cared more than they could admit, but fear kept them from choosing truth. This is the core of the divine warning. This is why heaven intervened. This is why God commanded your spirit to stop and watch. Because the direction your heart was beginning to move toward could not be built on unspoken emotion, hidden intentions, or unresolved fear. Heaven needed you to see the truth so you would not anchor your destiny to someone whose spirit is still learning how to stand. This revelation is not meant to create bitterness. It is meant to free your heart from the weight of uncertainty. Heaven is showing you the truth so that you can release what was never meant to carry you into the next chapter of your life. The connection was real. The energy was real. The spiritual pull was real. But it was not aligned with your destiny because it lacked the clarity, commitment, and spiritual maturity required to walk beside someone chosen. Michael shows me another vision, a staircase glowing with golden light. Only one step is visible at a time, but each step leads upward with purpose. This staircase represents your next season, one built on truth, alignment, and divine partnership. You are being pulled upward, and anything or anyone who cannot rise with you must be gently released. That release is not punishment. It is protection. God is removing emotional fog, spiritual interference, and hidden instability so that you walk into your next chapter with full clarity and no spiritual hindrance. This final unveiling brings with it a profound message. You were never rejected. You were never overlooked. You were never insufficient. You were simply too aligned for someone who has not yet learned how to walk in their own truth. Heaven is calling you forward, toward peace, toward purpose, toward relationships built on honesty, not hesitation, toward connections that feed your spirit instead of draining it, toward people who see you clearly and choose you without fear. You are stepping into a season of alignment where confusion cannot follow, dissection cannot hide, and fear cannot take root. Michael says, your next chapter requires truth on every level. And now, you have it. Walk forward with the confidence that only revelation can give. The confusion is gone. The mask has fallen. The truth is complete. Heaven has protected your heart, redirected your path, and cleared your vision. What comes next will be lighter, clearer, and more aligned than anything you have walked through before. Before you step into the next blessing, speak this into the atmosphere. Type "I walk into my destiny" in the comments if this message has opened your spirit. Blessing code 8088 is now active and flowing toward your life. Like this message, share it to carry light into another soul's journey, comment your confirmation, and subscribe so these divine revelations continue to find you exactly when you need them. Your engagement allows this message to reach the ones heaven is urgently calling. As Archangel Michael tears away every shadow that tried to dim your destiny, this mission continues the work of bringing divine clarity to souls across the world who are silently fighting through confusion, fear, and spiritual blindness. When you sow into this calling, you become a vessel through which God reaches hearts that feel lost in the very battles you have now overcome. I hear the Spirit declaring, "What you release into my work, I release back into your life multiplied." This is your moment to respond prophetically, to step into alignment through action. If this message moved something deep within you, use super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description to plant into this anointed mission. As you give, may heaven pour back into you supernatural clarity, open doors, restored peace, and accelerated breakthrough. Act in faith, for your seed becomes light in someone else's darkness.